You don't know
3, 2, Shalom,
Shalom.
everyone.
That failed miserably.
It is, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 of us this time. This is episode 152. Welcome back. I still haven't edited last episode, so that's fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy it when it does go up. I don't even remember what we talked about, but today, got a few smaller topics, and then we're going to talk about something that Andy's wanted to bring up for a while. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you enjoyed the last episode and enjoyed the holiday break. Hopefully you had a good Christmas. Anything going on, guys, in your lives that you want to bring up before we begin? Any new releases? Any new... Brody, go.
Phase 2 for Wrath Classic drops. Well, when is this coming out? Because it's going to really alter how I say this.
Sometime in
It came out a while ago. How's that sound?
Sure.
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow, which now is probably a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. Our first day is gonna be like 14 hours of raiding. So
Yeah, no, thank you.
Oh, fuck. I work.
No. No, I'm not doing that. No. I can barely sit on my computer for 3 hours without breaking something or coming very close, so there's no way I could do 14.
I'd have such a migraine.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, new releases that I'm really stoked about is the first episode of The Last of Us dropped yesterday. Amazing. I mean, I was not too surprised because I feel like it was different in the fact that it was heavily monitored by the people who made the game. So it was, actually accurate. And it's turning out to be probably one of the best video game to TV/movie adaptations ever. When it released, it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think Andrew told me it went down a couple points, but still ridiculous critic reviews, especially with how big of snobs they can be. But they changed a few details. Some of them I'm like, they really shouldn't have changed that, or like some of them were like so minor it was like whatever. But there's some dialogue from the game that's actually in the show that they followed word for word, so that's kind of cool. But overall, first episode covers like first hour and a half to 2 hours, I think, of what it would be in game, and it's just really good so far. I'm very pleasantly surprised, and I was nervous, but I'm glad that it worked out.
One thing I heard about this the TV show is that they did a really good job like not screwing with the main storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's saying that this is the best game to TV adaptation they've ever done, like ever in the history of everything.
Yeah, no, they're dope. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
What I have to say is nobody really cares about that. What we want to hear about is this week's GTA 6 leak.
You're not talking about GTA 6 again.
I don't think there's anything new anyway.
No.
I don't think there's either.
No, it is very accurate to the games, and I mean I hope they add some, like, one thing I really liked that they did was they kind of built the foundation for the story better because they included stuff that happens before the game. And I hope that they kind of do that where they fill in the blanks. Like, I don't even know who here has played or seen the game, but in the game, like, they don't really go into details, but in the show, it's like, okay, well, obviously, when you're in an apocalypse situation, you have to do shit to survive, and it actually shows, like, Joel going to these meetings and giving people drugs in exchange for ration cards and stuff, so it, like, fleshes out the entire, like, universe. They didn't just do the bare minimum and basically just retell the story. So I'm excited to see what else they kind of add to give it more substance. Because obviously, if they went word for word, scene by scene, it would just be one long fucking cutscene, and it wouldn't be too interesting. So overall, very happy with it. Updates next week, I guess. See if they can continue it.
So as someone who's never I haven't really been following it, but I'm curious, where can you watch this as? Where is this released on?
It's on Crave, but
Okay.
HBO Crave. You need to get the Crave plus HBO package, or just pay for HBO.
Of course.
Yeah.
Turn mine down a little bit. Sorry. I noticed that my side was picking his voice up.
It happened.
I probably would have went out of my way to buy the subscription just to watch it, just because I'm a fan. But I feel like if you're gonna buy it just for the sake of that, then it's if you have access to someone's account, I'd say go for it. But if you've never played the games or never been a fan of it, I'd say I'd still go and watch it. But obviously,
it might be hard to follow though.
Yeah, and and I don't know if it's worth a whole subscription to watch one show, but
that's our day and age now. Everyone just fucking, here's a subscription for this and subscription for that, and there's nothing going together in one. Everyone's doing their own subscriptions, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing with Letterkenny. I got Crave for Letterkenny, so. But no, I hope that they can keep it going. But I feel like if the critics have already reviewed it so positively, that hopefully they can avoid ruining it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is I have a bone to pick with Facebook.
Oh yes.
I think I've done one of these where I've had a bone to pick with Twitter and Instagram and now Facebook.
Saga.
I am restricted on Facebook, and I have been for the last month because
I wonder why.
This wasn't my fault.
You like to pick fights, so.
Okay, but the fights I pick on Facebook, I'm a social justice warrior. No,
Jesus Christ!
Oh, no.
I am justified in my battles on Facebook. Okay, one time I got banned because I called a meme page on Facebook a bish, like a bitch, but obviously not using that word, and I got banned for 24 hours because I called a meme page a non-swear word, which he does to all of his fans all the time. And then this most recent time, somebody was making fun of somebody, calling them fat or whatever, and so I called them a cunt, and then I got banned again. But I mean, come on. I mean, you start your guidelines around bullying and harassment and whatever. I guarantee that guy didn't face any repercussions for what he said, but because I said cunt and it got flagged in their system, I got fucking banned and restricted. And I wouldn't have a problem with this if it was consistent and if it made fucking sense, but their algorithm picks up on the most bullshit terms or takes things out of context. I feel like they need an appeal process that you can actually talk to someone and explain it and have them review it, because it's not reviewed by a person. There's no fucking way. They just pick up on keywords and they're like, you said a bad word. Well, to the corner, champ.
Yeah,
and hammer.
And like I said,
yeah,
to Brody, it's just these fucking Dorito dusted cunts sitting up in Facebook offices don't have any idea about any of this shit going on. And it's I'd be okay if I got banned for, saying a slur or something. That, okay, yeah, I understand that. But you have to take into account the context behind who's getting banned and why they're getting banned and their actions facing consequences. It's just, there's no consistency at all.
That's fair. See, there's a way to avoid it. You know what it is?
Killing Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
It's not having Facebook. Then you can't get banned.
Thank you.
Don't have it.
It's not
you.
just Facebook though; it's everywhere, and that's the problem I have. Is everything's automated? Everything goes through this process where it's all programmed into this algorithm, and if you deviate from it at all, you're punished.
Like YouTube's latest changes to their algorithm for swearing, how that's screwing up a pile of gamers. YouTube gamers.
Everybody.
Well, everybody.
Everybody.
Like Linus Tech Tips, I'm sure everyone here is familiar with them. Their last stream, they swore the entire time without the beeper or anything like that.
Yeah.
Brandon may have to do some work here if he doesn't like any of these words, but like within the first 2 or 3 minutes, he was saying fuck, cunt, pussy, bitch. Like he was going off, and I've never actually heard Linus say any of that. And then Luke wasn't talking the entire time. Like I think he said 2 sentences because he had oral surgery this week and he couldn't talk. But that it was a great episode to tune into halfway and be like, the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's why they were doing that. And yeah, I don't know. Everyone's just being oversensitive about stupid shit.
I'm kind of wondering.
Our world.
I'm wondering if does Facebook silently push out these policy changes like YouTube? They just don't say anything, and then they expect
sure
everybody
they
to
do.
know what's happening.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
they did that when they got compromised there, and they basically didn't tell anyone until it came out otherwise. I mean, one of the many times they got compromised, but
Yeah, that blows my mind.
but it feels so backwards because in some ways society is kind of evolved where they're not as sensitive with swears and stuff, and then other on the radio, I know they're being less strict with it. I hear the occasional shit in songs or whatever. I don't know if I've heard any fucks or any F-bombs.
I haven't heard F-bombs and I haven't heard bitch. Those are the two that I still haven't heard.
But if
I've heard bitch.
Yeah,
Really?
I feel like
On Rock
bitch
5.
and shit
Oh, yeah.
might be okay, but I think they're still deviating away from fuck. But that's what I mean. It's so convoluted and it conflicts with itself because YouTube's like, nah, you can't swear. There's kids on here or on this site and blah blah blah, and it's for their safety. And then the radio's fine with it.
I mean, that whole there's kids on YouTube shit is complete dog shit. Like, there is YouTube Kids for a reason, and this is all monetary. This is because of the whole PewDiePie saga when he said the N-word accidentally on stream, and that just started the ball rolling. Everyone was like, why are we supporting this platform? The largest platform creator just said the N-word, and we're giving this company tons of money.
Yep.
But
Apocalypse.
yeah, the adpocalypse is all because of PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Fuck you, PewDiePie. Shame.
Fuck dudes.
I mean, even that, I feel like, yes, it was I'm not defending him, okay? I'm just going to say that flat out right now. But I feel like punishing every single creator because of one mistake by somebody was a really shitty way of handling that. I mean, YouTube could have come out and, condemned him for what he did and obviously maybe cut ties with him or tried to distance themselves from him, but everyone pulling out their ads because of that was pretty bullshit. Because I mean, there's celebrities that do the same thing. I mean, not dropping slur, but I mean they do shitty things and they're still promoted and advertiser friendly.
The half naked ladies on all these music videos on YouTube, and they get them monetized completely for there's no punishment or anything for their side.
That's TikTok's fucking algorithm. You see half naked women on there now. It's like, wait,
and they're all underage.
I know.
They're going right by the filters.
I thought this was a family app. It's like, holy shit, this is not the platform these people should be on.
That's fine, but then you go on Facebook and you say, fuck you for doing that or something to somebody, and banned, done.
No.
Suspended.
Yeah.
And of course, once you're flagged once, it's a cycle. It never ends. I know my brother's one friend was banned all the time, so he just created a separate account to go troll people on. But it's once you get flagged once, and that's why I honestly do think that's what's happened to me, because I've said things that are tame, and it's oh, you got reported. I think I've appealed it
'cause you got
once.
flagged.
I've appealed
Yeah.
it once, and they reverted
It's
it.
useless.
But I appealed it this time, and I wrote a whole explanation. I'm like, it's very hypocritical for you guys to be doing this because obviously the guy who I commented on was bullying someone, and yes, I
Yeah.
maybe used language I shouldn't have. I admit my fault there. But your algorithm's flawed, and you guys need to be able to have an appeal process that makes sense for
Yep.
the users,
Oh yeah.
for the site, and that is done by a human because computers and algorithms, it's all flawed. It's all
Yeah.
dependent on if it works and how accurate it works and how effective
never
it
happen.
is.
It'll never happen
No.
ever.
No.
They don't want to
Because
pay
it
for
takes way
the human resources.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It takes too much manpower just to fucking have someone sitting there constantly going through being like, all right, does this go this
Yeah.
way? Are they still good? Versus just fucking having
I mean,
a computer
they
do
do
it like that.
they do have some people. Like I know Ludwig, he used to work for Snapchat, and that's what he used to do. He used to do content moderation, and they basically had two buttons: is this approved? Yes, or is this approved? No, and that is it. And like I don't know how much faith I put in those people because I feel like for some people they're not going to get punished if they say something's not advertiser friendly, so they're just going to say oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But anyways,
We'll never know.
I just I don't. I mean, I haven't liked Facebook for a long time. I just have it, and I really should delete it because I hate social
got
media in
rid of it.
general. But
Yep.
It's 2023. We can't live without it.
phone addiction is real.
It's real.
Oh yeah.
Yep, it
Absolutely.
really is.
Oh yeah.
Man, I was at even like I go to my family's for supper. And I have to laugh every time because it's like always the same thing. You know, we're talking, we have supper, we're visiting. After supper, you know, clean up, and everybody immediately on their phone. I mean, I sat down, and within like 5 minutes, my mom was on her phone, my stepdad was on her phone, my grandma was on her phone, my stepsister was on my phone. I'm like, well, I better get out my phone. I sat there for like 20 minutes straight, just not saying a word, not on my phone, not anything, just kind of looking around and
Just
you know, not doing anything to see if any of them would look up and be like, "What are you doing?" And it was,
Yeah.
no, just on their phones. And I'm like,
Odd
"This
one out,
is
yeah.
a crazy society that we're in now."
Oh yeah.
Or what were you saying? I was looking at my phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Colton can't do that. He'd have to pick up a whole tripod.
Just sitting there with a tripod.
But anyways, fuck Facebook, fuck Instagram, fuck Twitter, fuck all of them. It's just YouTube,
Fuck
not you though,
Snapchat,
because I
fuck
love you, YouTube.
Tumblr.
People
Tumblr.
still use Tumblr? How old are you? What the fuck?
When they took the porn off there, like 90% of their
Yeah.
audience left.
Yeah, guys, fuck Grinder. I couldn't get anybody on there.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Just fuck.
Oh,
Anyway,
Um,
Andrew, what do you have for us today?
Well, so what I have is actually from a discussion of a previous podcast where it was a discussion that happened after the end of the podcast. We were talking about conspiracy theories, and somehow I brought up the Antikythera Mechanism. I don't know what that had to do with conspiracy theories, but
It got brought up.
something about we were really advanced at one point in time, and now we aren't. I think, or we lost it, and now we're like
Well, I know we were
getting
talking,
back where we were. But
I know the episode that we did, me, you, and Brody, we were talking about like at what point in time we would go back to, and I think that's where that kind of started.
maybe, yeah. Anyway, so what I have to talk about is the Antikythera Mechanism. And for those who don't know about it, it is essentially the first known example of a what is the term, like an analog computer?
Yeah, that's what I got off the article there.
Yeah.
So yeah, no electronics at all. Of course, this is from
the 2nd century.
Yeah, ancient Greek times.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. They could predict moon cycles with amazing accuracy down to like the hour.
Mm-hmm.
And
Space racists go wild for this thing.
Oh, yeah, 'cause it was off of.
Oh god.
But it's amazing what they were able to do, and like even just if you look at even the manufacturing of this device, like
Well, because it's gears, right? It was just a bunch of
There's
gears,
a bunch of inlaid gears and
yeah,
intricately like designed parts.
designed. Yeah, that it literally could track the sun and the moon cycles and the what was it, the four? I can't remember it now. 4 cycles
Oh,
of
it was
something.
just
It's the moon cycles, I'm pretty sure.
It was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the seasons technically. That's what I was
Seasons. Thank
thinking
you.
of,
Yeah, which that's really cool when you
Especially
think about that.
For how old it was when we because we discovered it in 1901 from a shipwreck that was said to be from like 79 BC or whatever it was, right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, this is thousands of years ago, and they're predicting cycles of the seasons, the moon cycles, and all that stuff. Things that no one even began to imagine we knew anything about of, and yet here we are. They designed this intricate machine with gears like this almost clock, a computer. It's a computer. They designed a computer 2,000 years before electricity was really a thing.
Yeah,
like it's crazy to think how advanced the Greeks actually were.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's something I talked about too in the episode that Andrew brought it up, because I said like what era would I want to go back to, and I said like the Renaissance or like before the fall of Rome, because there's so much shit that is just gone, like the burning of Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria, all that information is gone, and like maybe we'd be like years ahead if we had the information that's just gone now, and like all these technological advancements that were mainly in like Rome and Greece and the surrounding area. Like the amount of revolutionary tech and information that came out of that geographical area is insane.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy. Like even sundials. Like when I look at sundials, I'm like, you actually see like that's really fucking cool that they could figure out from the different positions of the sun how to actually tell time. Like that's fucking mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I mean, tech's evolved so much. Even like the first Vikings that traveled across to England. I mean, they were using fucking like stones to see how far they were in the ocean and what direction they had to steer their ship in order to, find new land. And how far we've come.
Yeah, it's crazy to think what human beings like are capable of, and like just to even try to wrap your brain around it, even in modern day. Just for instance, our phone or a light, like someone had to think about that, and multiple trial and error, and now we can fucking flip a switch and we have light. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
So back to the original topic. If anyone who's listening wants more information or wants to kind of see what it would have looked like, Click Spring on YouTube. I'm sure there's been a few others, but Click Spring is the main one who's actually like going back. He's rebuilding this. He's doing all of the CAD work for it from the original scans. He's working closely with museums to help them figure out more about it and how it worked. They didn't know how it worked.
Yeah.
Really until, from what I understand, until he started digging into it. Oh, you fucking...
Oh, look at down there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and from what I can tell from the video, like, it's never going to be completely recreated 100% because, like, what they used back then, we can't even use nowadays. Yeah. And, like, I can't imagine how intricate that entire thing is. And especially with it being lost and underwater and no, like, recent recreations of it. So they have nothing to go off of other than this one that they found in the water.
They've done a scan essentially of, but yeah, so he's been doing a phenomenal job of it. He's got 2 different series. One is going over the actual building and recreation of the device, and the other series is going and figuring out how they would have actually built it and recreating the tools that they had available to them and using those tools. He uses those tools in the project. So like
that's cool.
One of the main tools is a vise. You would have had to have had a way to hold on to it.
Yeah.
And they didn't have, the modern vices that we have now. And you need something that also be more precise and delicate. And it's actually a really simple solution. It's like 2 pieces of wood held together like this with a V-band and some leather wrapped around the top. You literally just put the piece in between the 2 pieces and slide up your whatever brass bushing you would use or whatever you'd be using to kind of clamp them together. And you see that in every video of his. That when he's rebuilding this, he's using that.
Yeah.
Also drilling holes. He's using a drill that he recreated to the best of his knowledge. It's plausible they could have used something similar to it in that point in time. Basically, is what he's doing. So it's really, really cool. Definitely worth watching both of those series.
Yeah, I watched that first video there that you put in there, and I, it's just insane to me that something that was made so long ago can be recreated now, and how accurate it might not be 100% accurate, but how accurate it is because of what we have available today.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
There's no way someone could look at that and be like, "Oh yeah, I can build that."
Yeah,
exactly.
What?
I just want to be able to sit down and appreciate the fact that this thing survived 2,000 years underwater in the water, and it came out, and you could still see the gears. And when they CAT scanned it, you could see all little intricate pieces inside. It survived.
That's fucking crazy.
2,000 years. Count to 2,000, and every time you say 1 or 2 or 3, you count a number. It's a year. Like, that's a mind-boggling number. It's hard to comprehend just saying the number.
I don't know why, but I'm just imagining like old man Eric just going, "They don't make things like they used to."
Back in 2,000 years ago, they used to make shit tough. It wouldn't break underwater like the crap plastic trash you have nowadays.
When we had vehicles, they weren't made of almost all fucking plastic. They were actually metal.
It's grapes. It wouldn't surprise me if, someone came out and be like, "Oh yeah, that was like early day Nokia."
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess some other questions I kind of posed to myself when I was watching the video, just because I like to imagine like asking these kinds of questions, because there's not really a good answer. I mean, we can kind of talk about it, but like, how far ahead do you think the Greeks really were? And like that kind of civilization. I know we talked about like even the Aztecs and in I guess it wouldn't be South America, but in North America, like there's these different civilizations that at one point or another they just seem like they were fucking like so far ahead of everyone else.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to put forward my opinion on this because I think they were smarter than we are now today because they used much more difficult methods to accomplish the same goals that we have, that we do nowadays. Like in terms of following the seasons, now we just have a digital clock and 6 seasons. These are the seasons. This is your clock. There it is. Now they built this very complex gears. Yeah. And the same with the sundial. Like they built this thing that had to be perfectly aligned in the exact same position. Now we just had 9:05.
Yeah. You literally can just look on your wrist, on your phone.
Without that, and without being able to learn off of what they did, we would not have anything that we have nowadays, which is like the burning of the library. Think of all the information that we lost that we could have used to advance us nowadays. We'd probably be, I'd say, probably 100 years advanced compared to what we are now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If I were to kind of roughly ballpark it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back in history, it's kind of sad to think about because it's like anything that wasn't written down and copied many, 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 many times is gone forever.
It's lost. Yeah.
Like
it's
oral
nuts.
tradition used to be a really big thing back then before everyone started writing shit down. I can't imagine how much stuff we don't know just because there's no record of it. There's no way we could know about it.
There were brilliant minds like Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton, and they wrote their stuff down, and we have records of it, and that's the only way we're able to, go back and reference that stuff. And there's so many other brilliant minds that did the same thing but didn't write it down.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
And all that information's gone.
Oh yeah, it's mind-boggling.
I feel like especially since like us as humans, we have such. I don't know if it's just a lack of not wanting to go further back, but we have such a limited capacity on what we remember. I mean, even stuff like 1,000 years ago, people don't think about, but like there's the whole line of history repeating itself, but it does. And we don't remember some of the stuff that's happened before, so I don't know. I think it's more of like a philosophy type pondering of holy fuck, as humanity we've done so much.
And these are ruining that. These are ruining that.
Oh yeah.
Like earlier tonight, I told Eric as we were going outside, hey, I need a measuring tape. And then we went outside and I started walking towards his garage and he's like, what are you going to get? I'm going to get a fucking measuring tape.
He told me it a minute ago and I completely forgot.
And I blame our phones.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That's 100%. A really big reason why we have such like massive memory issues. I think it's a really big part of our mental health issues that we have nowadays, honestly.
Yeah.
It's done wonders because I can just text Eric and say, hey, I'm coming over.
Yeah.
Or we can all text and say, hey, we're all getting on Discord and start our
we
call.
Can do what we're doing right now of everyone's in a different space, but we're it's crazy. But honestly, nowadays a phone is a part of you. And it's sad to say that, but everyone functions with a phone in their life.
Yeah.
And the other reason we have a phone is because of the Romans, and so we can blame the Romans for our downfall.
Oh yeah. But it's funny that we're talking about how far we've come. I had a conversation with my coworkers, and all my coworkers are older than me, like their 30s and their 40s. So they were talking about like, do you remember how you guys used to get music? So I talked about burning a CD because that's where I came from. But they were talking about how you would take one blank cassette, take another blank cassette, fucking line it up, and if there was a song you wanted on a radio, you had to go take your cassette, get it just right, and if the fucking tape got compromised, you had to wait for them to play it again. It's fucking insane. Like, absolutely insane. That's why mixtapes meant so much to people, because of the amount of hours just to have those certain sets of songs, where now you can just type in your song you want, press a button, and it's there. Like that's insane.
You definitely couldn't have over 6,000 songs in your library back then.
I mean, no, you could.
Nope,
you could. It would take a very long time.
It would take a lot of space.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You'd have multiple cassettes that were, all right, this is part of the playlist, this is part of the playlist, this is part of the playlist. Yeah.
Hey guys, here's my mixtape. It's the size of a minivan, but it works great.
That's actually, Colton, that's kind of got me thinking, like, the generational gap between, like, groups of people. Because things are like so much different than like when my grandma was born to when my mom was born. Like even my brother, like my brother's 10 years older than me, but there's some things like he just doesn't relate to, and there's some things I don't relate to in his generation. So like
that's the big thing I'm finding at work when we're talking. It's just like they're talking about their generation. I'm like, holy shit.
What do you guys think is going to be our generational gap? What do you think that we know now and what we've kind of been accustomed to is going to not hit when our generation passes on to the next generation?
I think, it'd be cool. Cell phones becoming holograms. Like you see it in like movies. That would be so cool.
It's already happening. Neuralink.
I don't think it's going to be holograms. Yeah, exactly what Eric was saying. Neuralink. I think these are going to be our thing of our generation, where we're going to be like, oh yeah, if I wanted to listen to music, like I had to plug my headphones in or connect to the Bluetooth on my headphones.
Yeah.
And then put the headphones in my ears. No, now it's just going to be like, on Neuralink, I can actually stimulate nerves in my brain that make me think that I'm hearing this song or
you
whatever.
Don't even
right? Like,
stimulate.
like it could be something as crazy. I don't think it's quite going to be like that, but you know what I mean, right?
No, I know exactly what you're saying. It's even what you just said there. I had to plug my headphones in. The next generation, they don't
won't have to
have.
deal with
There's not going to be a fucking. There's not even going to be a charging jack.
I already lost mine.
I bet I'm the only one with a headphone jack right now on my phone.
Yeah.
Wait, Colton, do you have one? You're plugged into your phone, right?
I had to use a dongle. I had to use a little fucking adapter to plug this in. But
what are you doing?
Insane.
What are you doing with this ancient grandpa technology, you old man?
What do you mean? This phone is like...
You now have the hairline of the generation.
He is the highest performing phone here, and he's being clowned on. It's fine.
Exactly. But no, to answer your question, Brandon, mine's with going to electric cars and that, like, lube shops and the job I do now of specifically oil changes,
gone.
10, 20 years, that's gone. That's gone. Because it's all going to be battery and just maintenance, but there's going to be no liquids like transmission fluid, brake fluid, anything like that.
Water's gone, no liquid.
Not even that. It's going to be like plastic forks. What do you do with a plastic fork when you're done with it?
Yeah,
that's what vehicles are going to be. That's what everything's going to be.
Yeah,
as soon as you're done with it, gone.
It's crazy, like, and that's the shitty thing. Is as we keep progressing on with life, stuff's not being built to last anymore.
Oh no, it's all about how much money can I make out of this? How much money can I milk out of this?
Do you guys remember when you could replace the battery in your phone?
Yep.
You could just take the back off and put a new battery in? Like
that was less than 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
I know. That was less.
And it wasn't like $1,000 to replace it.
No, we didn't have glass back fucking like this.
Yeah.
Glass back that you peeled off. Where's your battery?
Yeah.
You could put a new battery in and your phone kept going.
If I went back in time and told somebody in 2010 that this phone that I'm holding cost me $2,000, what you did, you cannot change the battery. When it dies, that's it. They'll tell me I'm insane, and they'll say you were an absolute
headphone jack.
Yep.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. Like with you and that talking about that generation gap, like that's crazy to think. Like just try to sit for a second and try to actually wrap your brain around like what the 80s was, and then what the 2000s is, and then what the next fucking generation's gonna have. Like
the 80s was 40 years ago. Let that sink in.
You wanna know one thing that pisses me off for generation gap wise? The housing market.
Yes, that too.
Yeah. Oh, that's a huge fucking piss off.
People used to, one person works, one person stays at home. Used to be able to afford a house, buy a house, buy fucking 4 cars, have 12 children,
exactly.
62 geese.
You could have these massive families, and you could have just one breadwinner. That's fucking insane. Because nowadays, fucking for 2 people, we're still working. I can't even fucking afford a house.
Yeah.
Like
if 2 people who work together don't make $30 an hour, like not combined, separate. If each person makes $30 an hour or more, that's fine. But less, you can't buy anything in this world nowadays.
No, like I make just above minimum wage, which with taxes and shit and inflation, like that doesn't go that far.
You know what gets rid of inflation?
Guns.
Assassinations.
Yeah, war. That is true.
War is like the ultimate economy booster.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, war is bad.
Oh yeah, war's
bad,
but unfortunately, you're right. It is very good for the economy. Because but no, that's crazy. Like with what you were saying about the housing, you think about what stuff costs nowadays. Like I remember when the cheap chicken was like a couple bucks and the expensive chicken was maybe like $10. Well, now the fucking cheap chicken's like $10. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Our grandparents back in the day bought a house for 14 raspberries and a handful of sugar, and now it's fucking $750,000.
Yeah, exactly.
There's people that are fucking fleeing the bigger cities because it's just like millions of dollars that you need to be making in order to survive.
My sister wants to move to BC with her boyfriend, and I
brain currency.
Good fucking luck to you, because like that's insane. The housing there, everything there. To be honest, fuel, gas. I still remember a couple years ago when we were under a fucking $1.
I haven't seen
that.
Was forever. You just Canadianed yourself real hard there, by the way.
Back in my day, you could buy a 30 house person living quarter for 3 cigarettes and a nickel.
Yeah.
Cigarettes and a nickel. That was good.
I am curious what the new generation's gonna do. I have a little bit of a, I don't know. I'm in a privileged position because all the girls I worked with at my last job were under 18 and they were still in high school. So I kind of got to know like what the new generation was doing. What are these kids doing nowadays?
When we were in school,
it's not super different. Like it's not like from the 80s, like going to school in the 80s to when we went to school. It's like a few years ahead of us. There's apps that I haven't heard of. What was the one that they were doing at oh god, they're gonna make fun of me if they see this clip. I can't remember what it is. It's the one where you have to take a picture, like pops up a notification, you have to take a picture. Yeah, it's all about like taking a picture in the moment. Be real. Be real. That's what it's called.
Thank you. Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
And it's all about taking photos in the moment. It pops up on your screen, and
it takes a forward and a like at the same time. It's a you're front facing and you're rear facing.
Yeah.
And it's a notification that goes off, and anyone who has the app, that notification goes off at the same time, and you take a picture, and it's like Brandon said, being in the moment.
And I'm like, what if I said this at the table at her birthday? I'm like,
in the moment.
Sorry,
what? It sounds like the opposite of being in the moment, because rather than being in the moment, you're on your fucking cell phone.
Like what?
Oh, my phone went off.
But
wait, no, every fucking high school chick.
Yeah.
But they said to the girls at the table, like, this is at Brenna's birthday, because she's like, oh, I gotta do my Be Real, guys. Brenna, please don't hate me. But I'm like, what if I'm just taking a shit? Like, what if I'm jacking off? Am I supposed to just like?
They're like, all right,
hold the hog up, like
what the fuck? It's so weird.
Oh, that's fucking.
Does it post it? Like, is it a social media platform?
Yeah.
Like everybody?
Yeah.
So
you post your Be Real, and your friends
it'll
see
post it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's
now
like
TikTok's starting to do it.
Well, yeah, and
TikTok,
then I don't
live
know.
View or whatever.
I don't know. It's TikTok now, but I don't know if Be Real does this. But you can only see TikTok now if you post a TikTok now, and I don't know if Be Real does that. But it's like, okay, to see what your friends are up to, you have to do the thing. It's like
fuck you.
I will not be forced into doing that. The girls are like, you should get Be Real, and I'm like,
no.
How about you be real? I won't.
Yeah. How about you get real? Boom, roasted.
I saw a post today, and it kind of made me sad to think about it, but it's just it was a picture and it was side by side, so it was just like how you could tell where everyone was back then. And it's just a picture of all the bikes on the fucking yard, and then it's the trucks, and it's like, man, people fucking like. Do you remember when you would actually go bike to your friend's place to fucking hang out? You go outside, like.
Yep.
And if they didn't live in biking distance, they ain't getting my fucking friendship. Sorry.
No, you had to live there. But oh man, I remember Saturdays. Like I would wake up at 8 a.m. and I'd be outside. I'd be biking. I'd be hanging out with the neighborhood kids till like 6 o'clock at night. Just outside, climbing fucking trees, doing Nerf wars, exploring, walking by the river, like
no bitches.
All this kind of stuff.
Bitches.
What?
No bitches.
No bitches.
No bitches.
See, bitches. I have one that's the same, but it's different. I would wake up super early on a Saturday.
Watch
like
cartoons.
This is a great memory. Yeah, me and my dad would sit down with our bowls of cereal and watch cartoons all morning long.
Yeah, I remember doing that too, like Cartoon Network or
original Looney Tunes. That's dated.
Oh, with the or the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show. You remember that one? That was the one we would watch. But what the fuck was that channel called now? It had He-Man. It had Power Rangers, Transformers, like all the old cartoons.
It'll come to you. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll come to me. But yeah, I remember doing that.
We have tangents so far away from our original topic. It's not
that's what a podcast is.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. True. That's true. That's a good podcast because it gets discussion going.
Do you guys remember Sick Days from School back then? Turn on the fucking oh man, it was just turning on TV and watching all the fucking shows they're on. They had some weird shows, very weird shows on at that time, or like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Colton.
Yes.
Tangent is tangent.
Shut up, time.
To answer your question, it's different than what the generational gap between us and our parents, but I can see it going more towards like a not knowing any better, because we grew up. I mean, all of us here, and even people who are a few years younger than us, we can remember the gap that we went through from like corded phones and non like digital full touchscreen phones to the technology we're in now, because like we still remember that. But think about it, these new generations, they're not going to know any better. They're not going to know anything other than being on their phones and this new age of technology. So they're not going to have the same reservations that we do, because they're not going to have the same experiences that we have had.
Yeah, another big one that I remember in one of the elementary schools here, my generation had the first computer lab.
Yeah.
And now every classroom has like enough laptops for every person. It's like
they got
I remember the fucking big white tower and your giant keyboard, like it's alone is a long ways.
Do you remember the old projectors with the fucking laminate, and then I remember those.
PTSD.
Having to go up and answer.
I remember when we got the first smart board. That was fucking crazy.
It's not every classroom has enough laptops for everybody. It's Chromebooks.
Chromebook.
Chromebook.
Yeah. I know. Fucking hated those Chromebooks. They're fucking stupid.
Yes. I would rather go to a computer lab than have a teacher be like, I'm going to bring the Chromebook thing up here. And it's like, can you not?
Yeah, I don't want it.
No, I don't want it. I want to go
to write this at home.
Yeah, I want to go to the computer lab and play Pop Tropica. Like, fuck.
My head hurt from that sneeze. Jesus Christ. Did you hear me from...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, loud and clear.
I was like, wait, what?
I muted my mic and I saw your face and I'm like, oh. Anyways, we should probably wrap her up here soon. Obviously, the original topic, circling back around, ancient technology is something that I don't think we'll fully understand. And obviously, we've deviated a lot from the old ways. I guess one question I'll pose to you guys to end here is, if you had the chance to go back, would you? Like, if we had the chance to go back to like older technology and maybe get a fresh do-over, would you do it?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
No hesitation.
No, I don't like the way we're going. I would love to go back.
Even if I could just go back like 50 years.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Buy a house because you could actually afford it. You go, spend $10 on a plot of land and $40 on a house. And,
literally.
Go drop off a fucking resume, and that's all you have to do. Not have to apply on fucking line and fucking.
Not have to have 20 years of experience and 20 years of education for an entry-level job.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even need to drop off resumes. Back then, you just showed up and be like, I'm really interested in doing that. I want to do it. And they'd be like, okay.
I'm ready to work. Yep. Yeah, no, exactly. Now you got to fucking apply online, hope that they got it. And
looking for a strapping young man with 25 years in the field and 20 years schooling.
Strapping young man. Must be younger than 30.
Entry position, 30 hours a week, no benefits, $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Must work weekends.
No holidays.
No holidays, no overtime.
No holiday pay, none of that shit.
You're here to fucking work.
I guess anything else you guys want to talk about for the original topic?
Ancient technology.
I mean, I think Eric mentioned Da Vinci, but he was way more than just art. A lot of them just chalk him up to be an artist, but he was an engineer, and he was
Da Vinci's Code, right?
He was a scholar. He was a lot more.
I believe Da Vinci did I think it's called the Peruvian Man or whatever it is. Yeah, the Peruvian Man. He was the one that created that.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he was more than art. It was math. It was science that he demonstrated in pictures.
Oh yeah,
phenomenally bright man. It's honestly it's beautiful in a way.
Yeah,
as odd as that sounds.
Leonardo da Vinci is what Elon Musk thinks he is.
I'm just waiting for the year 3000 when another one of Matt Groening's shows proves to be correct. And Leonardo da Vinci is actually from another planet, and he's actually the stupidest man on that planet. And he came here to feel smart.
Fuck.
That is scary to think.
That is terrifying.
This is why aliens haven't invaded, because we are too stupid.
I have to tangent. I have to tangent one more time because this was a thought that was hilarious about the whole Matt Groening thing. So I'm sure everybody who's listening is familiar with The Simpsons, right? And Disney Plus, which is, I guess, for America, for Canadian people, for American people, it's basically, I mean, they have Disney Plus, but we get The Simpsons on that. Either way, they had this subsection called Simpsons Predictions. And do you guys know the episode with the Twin Towers?
Yes,
it was in there. I'm like, okay, what are you guys predicting here? Because this happened before that. So I'm like, either someone's getting fired, or they're being real cheeky about it.
Oh, they've predicted a fuck ton. It's crazy.
They are aliens.
I cannot believe they're still going 36 seasons now.
They shouldn't be.
No,
they should have been done a while ago.
Terrible now.
It's just milking it at this point and fucking dragging it out like Supernatural.
Like we're doing
this
podcast.
episode.
That's a great way to end.
We will end soon. TM.
Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, hopefully February is the month to be on this channel, because we're hopefully making some good changes and changing the kind of content a little bit, because this Discord thing was kind of out of a necessity, but now that we have the opportunity to expand on that, I'm excited for that. Can't wait for the concert at the end of February. That'll be fun. So we'll have to vlog that, and you guys will have that kind of content. But until then, enjoy our faces. Go watch our other episodes, or share with your family or friends. Honestly, word of mouth and sharing is the best way to support us. We're not monetized, so you guys can't support us that way. But spreading word to people is the best way to get on the path for that. So thank you guys again so much for your support. And hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Let us know what you think in the comments on the YouTube video. And go click the links down below. Find us on social media. Find us on your preferred audio platform or YouTube. Platform. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Peace.
See ya.